In my 25 years of working with bodies, working with people who are dealing with pain, dis-ease, chronic symptoms, I've had an approach that is different. It's paradigm shifting in the sense that rather than chasing the symptoms, which I see as the effects of a deeper cause, I've been most curious about our brain and nervous system. I find that for the masses, for everyone on this planet today, that the biggest problem humanity faces is chronically imbalanced autonomics. What does that mean? That means that our nervous system has an autonomic branch, and that branch is split into two. So you have your sympathetic branch and your parasympathetic branch, and that those two branches of our nervous system are meant to be like a teeter totter. We need them both. It's kind of like having a left and right hemisphere. We need them both. We wouldn't have both if we didn't need both. And so this teeter tottering effect is like we're more likely to activate sympathetically during the day over here, so we're actively moving. And at night, that sympathetic is supposed to slow down and parasympathetic is speeding up or is turning on. So you can also relate to that to brainwave activity where our brainwaves are going to speed up during the day, and on the other side of that teeter-totter, our metabolic activity is going to slow down. And at night, the brainwaves are supposed to slow way down and the metabolic activity is supposed to speed way up. So why would autonomic balance be so important? Well, when we are chronically in sympathetic, we're not having all that metabolic activity. So that means we're not eliminating correctly, digesting correctly, our immune system doesn't work correctly, our tissue repair and our cell function and reproduction, all of those things are getting minimal voltage because we're actively engaging and responding to the outer world. When we have a healthy brain that isn't stuck chronically in a stress state, reacting to something, thinking that we're in need of being ready to protect ourselves, some sort of survival mode, then that sympathetic mode shifts down, down regulates, and parasympathetic turns on, and we start to rest and digest and grow and repair properly. When that type of repair is happening, the body is maintaining its terrain. So it's removing acidic wastes and toxins, it's absorbing what we need, it's creating what we need. All of its functions are optimizing, and there's a lot of care going into the body. Whenever we're stuck in sympathetic, our blood flow, glucose, and oxygen all goes to our limbs, and it's ready to respond to whatever's happening outside, especially a threat. So it also puts us into the back of our brains, a more primitive level of function. And whenever we're in the primitive limbic or prelimbic level of function, we start to perceive through the amygdala, but we also have what's called brain lateralization, where we always pick one hemisphere or the other when we go into stress. Think about a fighter who goes into this position and is ready to fight. So this is such a big problem because the longer we're stuck in sympathetic, the more backed up we get around processes and digestion and toxins and elimination. And so what happens is the body becomes more and more of a cesspool for all of these things that are happening. And the longer those sit, the louder the body gets, trying to wake us up to, hey, resolve whatever this threat is. Tell me everything's okay so I can turn those parasympathetic functions back on. I can bring the blood flow, glucose, and oxygen back inside to the viscera and start taking care of business. This is huge because the longer we're in it, the less active is that inner healer, that natural innate intelligence of the body that knows exactly what to do. It knows how to fix and repair and do all of the wonderful things that this body needs. So this work is so important because it comes primary to everything else. Working at the most central, at the highest level in the nervous system, it changes everything. When we start to understand that the brain controls the nerves, which control the fascia, which control the muscles, which move bones, we're able to not only affect that autonomic balance, we're also going to affect the signaling and the messaging that is being sent down to the body through that chain. And so therefore the body's structural mechanics come back into balance, and we start to be able to have levity in the body to meet the forces of gravity that putting us down, that are degenerating the system. Any distortion musculoskeletally is going to increase the speed of degeneration in the body and tear up your joints, break down your bones. All of those things are happening as we hold this stress, this fight or flight stance in this brain lateralization where we're stuck in sympathetic. So hopefully that gives you a baseline of what it is that we're up to. When we are working with alpha biotics or any other way that we've just figured out how to interface with your nervous system, the idea is to get that autonomic balance restored and then to start to work to remove the interference, and that interference in the nervous system from the brain to the body and the body back. That interference can be quantitative or qualitative, meaning is it the right amount of signaling? Is it the right amount of energy? And then qualitatively, is it the right message, right? Is it even responding to the present, or is it still in response to the past, which could be totally inappropriate for the present? So we've been working in this way to bring about autonomic balance as the key to unlocking people's innate health and wisdom.